Let's go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Top of the morning in sunny California. Folks, it is hot out here. It will make you know you don't want to go to that other place. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You're listening to the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live with straight talk. Always. That's what we do around here. Nothing but straight talk. My co-hosts are, well, I have two. I think they're both on the line. One is Mr. Keith Swanson, the AI man. Everybody's still looking for him. He's still ducking and dodging. I tell you, AI man, you are really something. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. I walk amongst the people. They just never notice. That's all.
Well, you kind of remind me of something, you know. All right. Well, you doing good today in this hot weather, smothering heat?
Oh well, I think most of it's past. So we got that breeze yesterday. So I think most of it is over. But yeah, the weekend was tough.
Okay, I think a whole lot of people is going to probably try to go to church now because they're getting a taste of what hell is like.
That is true.
Oh my God, is Shawannah on board? If she's not, I'll introduce her anyway. Shawannah Bordenave. She's also my co-host. She's a real estate guru, and she buys houses, she sells houses, she flips houses, she does everything you can do to houses. So she's not on here. She'll join us later. You guys, today we have a great show, a great guest. One I've known for about 10 years, have come to love, come to respect, and one who's really doing the work that she's called to do. We're going to talk today about steps for healing broken women behind bars and in the free world. Let me say that again. We're going to talk about healing women, broken women, and there are a lot of women so broken. But today, I'm just happy to know that the woman that we have on our show today may have been bent, but not broken. So we're going to talk about healing broken women behind bars. Now, why are we talking about behind bars and we're talking about in the free world? Well, let me just say, a lot of you that's in the free...
626, can you please mute? Because I think we have some wind noise. Okay.
626. A lot of people in the free world, believe it or not, Keith, they're really behind bars. You just can't see the bars. They're not free. They feel entrapped. They feel bound and not free. So when we heal women, that's when we heal the nation, particularly when we're talking about black women. Now, women that are rearing our children. We're talking about the women who are taking care of their mothers. We cannot have a nation of sick women. We are so important. That's why it's so important for us to deal with healing the broken women. My guest today is none other than Dr. Georgia Horton. She's an evangelist, author of the book Elegant Sisters, What Happened? She's an ex-lifer who served 25 years in prison. She's been on the platform with most major ministries across this country. Healing, hurting, and misguided women is her ministry. She speaks on the mental health issues nationwide. And she's going to be speaking on the 21st, Saturday the 21st, at Crenshaw Christian Center. She is sought after across this country. So let me say good morning to my guest. Good morning, Dr. Horton.
Good morning, Dr. Rosie. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm just so delighted to have you with us today. I tell you, we couldn't have a better person, someone who experienced, someone who knows. See, there's a lot of people out there talking and talk, but they have no experience. They can't relate. They haven't even been in the company of some of the women we're talking about that need healing. They're so sophisticated they won't go near these women. Of their lifestyle, of where they was born, they never went on the other side of the track. But broken women are every place, every high place. I mean, women look good, they dress up, they fixed up, but there are so many broken women. Their spirits are broken. So it's time for healing, and I'm so happy that Dr. Horton is on this journey to help to heal broken women. So, Dr. Horton, let me have you to start by just telling them a little bit about yourself, why you're doing what you're doing. And I know on the 21st, you're going to be dealing with mental health, and I thought that is so good. I'll be sitting on the front row because there's a lot of emotional and mentally issues that people have, and they don't want to face it. They want to look good and dress up, and they're just as crazy as they want to be, crazy as a vegetable. So anyway, it's time for people to recognize, hey, I got problems. I got issues. So, Dr. Horton, give the audience just a taste of who you are, why you're on this journey, and just take it from here.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Rosie. So just to share a little bit about my testimony, and first of all, I want to just say thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here, and I'm so honored to be connected to a woman that is powerful and as renowned as you. Anybody that knows Dr. Milligan understands that she also, everything that she said concerning me is triple concerning her. And so I just want to thank you for having me today. So just to share a little bit about my testimony, I'm a woman that was born in a household of molestation, abuse. I was molested at a very young age. I wind up getting pregnant and from there hit prostitution real hard, not understanding that was the way I was dealing with the trauma that inflicted my body, inflicted my life, and wind up going into prostitution hard, thinking that the only pay value that I had was in my body. My mind was already just going through many different trauma issues, because anytime something like that happens to you in the environment that it happened to me inside the household, of course it's going to cause different type of traumatic issues to happen to you. So from that prostitution, I wind up catching a life sentence, wind up being in a woman's largest prison facility in the state of California that held 4,000 women. And when I got there, you're talking about a woman that was broken. You're talking about a woman that was angry. You're talking about a woman that mind was just really in a bad place. I was that woman. So I just want everybody to know that is listening today, that I'm not talking at you or to you. I'm talking with you. And in order to talk with somebody, you have to have traveled down that road of understanding in that insight. So Dr. Rose asked me what put me on this journey. Well, what put me on this journey was being a lifer with a 25 life sentence. That makes you not capable or able or qualified to go to the board for a length of time. Even though I was incarcerated for a crime I didn't commit, I still knew that being there, I had situations, and I had put myself in a place to where I had my feet ensnared. So, and plus I had a lot of things that was going on. So even though I wasn't there for the particular purpose that I was there, I still knew I needed some help. So going to my first board hearing, I asked for that help. Well, when I asked for that help, not only did I get thrown out the boardroom by the commissioners, but I got a 10-year denial, and I found out that day that this place was not here or conducive to help me. That if it was going to be any type of healing or any type of help that was going to come my way, then I was going to have to get on that journey myself. And so it was there and then that I decided to go on a healing journey, and being transparent and studying and getting education. And in the process of that, God opened doors. I got saved, got educated, got my degree at Billy Graham Institute, got my psychology, got all the learning that I needed, but at the same time, most of all, got delivered by God and was able to there start a program called Elegant Sister What Happened, who wound up thousands of women wound up actually working with the mental health system while incarcerated and helping women as well as psychologists moving forward from that day. And so that's what started my journey.
Wow. It is so awesome. And in your book, I noticed how you help women to see that they are not, whatever that label was put on them, whatever they were incarcerated, whatever they're doing here, that's not who they are. And you ask the question, what happened? You give people a chance to look inside and really look at why they are where they are, and then show them that the most powerful thing, to sum it up, is like you said, whatever condition you're in today is no reflection of your tomorrow. That is as powerful as you can get it. Because some people feel stuck. You know, they wear that name. I'm a prostitute. I'm a this. I'm an ex. So if you're ex, you're not that anymore. I just like the way that you approach the women. And like you said, you're not talking at them. You're talking to them. You're a woman of experience. And, you know, I've heard many people say, I had to go this way. I had to go through Samaria. I had to go there to get what I needed to be able to help people who needed me. Wow. Georgia, Dr. Horton, that is so important. Because if you had not ended up in prison for something you did not do, at the rate you were going, you might not have been here to be talking to us today. So there are a lot of people, I think, that have been incarcerated, and they would tell you themselves, that saved my life. Let's talk about that. What about that?
Yes, and I if I had I would not change my journey for nothing. Incarceration is what put me in a place where God could come and save my life. You know, and the scripture says that what the enemy meant for bad, God turned it for good, you know. And so giving God all the glory, I thank God that because that place was a place that I was able to be put still. And then God was able to come in and do what only he can do. But as we were talking, I want to go back a little bit because I want to make sure that we get some palatable bites for our audience and some takeaways. We was talking, you was bringing up concerning the we're not what we do, whether it's a prostitute, drug addict, or whatever the situation may be. One of the exercises inside the book, and one of the things that was one of the hardest things to get while I was teaching the class, and even up to date as I go forward in the free world, is to separate people from what they do to who they are, and making them understand that you're not what you do, and you're also not what you feel, which is your first step. Because a lot of times when we feel like we're a failure, we feel like we're not wanted, we feel like we operate a lot in that area. And so when we come to a place where we're able to separate these things and understand that feelings are not a reality, they're an emotion. And so when we start understanding and putting these pieces in the right places, then we're able to fully understand what it is. One of the things I really push when I'm dealing with situations, circumstances, whether it's women or men, I know that today we're talking about women, but these things are also applicable to men because there are a lot of broken men out there as well. Excuse me. Men face the same issues. There are men that have been molested. There are men that have been abandoned. There are men that even be abused. There are men that have been talked short. There are men that have been in households where they even been taken advantage of, even in areas that they grown up faster than they should be, put in a man's place while they were still boys. A lot of times we wonder why men are so aggressive in their mindset and in their thought patterns. It's because at an early age, especially if they was in a household by themselves, they was automatically placed in a man's position. The same thing with a woman. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times men would say, these women are so aggressive. Well, a lot of times they was in single households. And so they had to take on a role way before their time. But as we continue to look forward and as we continue to look at these things, people always say, the women that are behind bars, but they don't understand the broken women behind the bars came from the free world. So they got broken from the free world, and the institution is where the institution is where the place that the world decided to put broken people. But the brokenness happened out here in this world, in this society. And one of the main things is because society is always showing what's wrong with the person. And they point out and really blow that up, because in order for them to push their product or to sell everything or to enhance everything, to move anything, we got to show what's wrong with you. And so that has indoctrinated a lot of things in people's mind. That's why women out here are getting breast implants, getting boob jobs and everything, because society is pushing, okay, the reason why you don't have this is because you don't have that. And it's constant. Your lips not big enough. This is not. It's just constantly perpetuate not only your physical, but your mental and your emotional. So trauma, it rides real deep inside of, because of the commercialism that's going on inside the world, and also our own personal trauma.
Dr. Horton, we have some calls. I'm just going to give the number out again. If you want to talk with Dr. Horton, the number is 310-928-7733. That's 310-928-7733. We're speaking with Dr. Georgia Horton. And we're talking about Sept for healing broken women behind bars and those broken women who are in the free world. I like what she said, because they're broken in the free world. That causes many of them to end up behind bars. We're going to go ahead and take a call. Caller, go ahead and give us your name. Tell us where you're calling from and what is your question or comment. Go ahead, caller. Caller?
626. Do you want to make a comment?
Unmute yourself if you want to make a comment. Okay, let's go to the next caller.
818.
Okay.
No.
Maybe they just want to listen. Okay. If you choose to speak up later, you can just open the mic and we will allow you to have your comment. So, Dr. Horton, I love what you were saying, that people tend to think they are what they feel that they are. I love that thought, because people, many times get into that feeling. I've heard people say, you know what? I don't know whether I'm saved or not. I don't feel. I said, how do you feel? I don't feel. What does the word say about being saved? What do you have to do? So feeling, I think, is what land most of us into trouble based on what we feel. But the critical thing is that I just love about you, how you just boldly talk about your experience, because you realize that is something that happened, but that's not who you are now. So you don't have to be ashamed. You don't have to hold your head down. You speak boldly. You're very authentic. And by you being authentic, I think that has helped many women across this country, because they come from the shadows of brokenness. They come from the shadow of so many things that's not good in the eyes of society. And they never allow that shackle to fall off of their back, because they always feel like, well, if I get out there, what if somebody said, oh, I knew her? People tend to say, Dr. Horton, oh, I remember when. Let's talk about that.
Well, yes, I experienced that a lot when I got out, and especially when you're trying to penetrate that and come from that separation. one of the things I always say for those that have had a sketchy past, don't ever wait for anybody to give you permission to change. Nobody is ever going to release you or give you permission to you change. They're always going to try to hold you hostage to what your past is. So when you make up in your mind and you decide that you want to make that break from your change and evolve and become who God created you to be, then just do it. And as you continue to move forward in that, you know, when I first came out of prison, they handed me some boots and, you know, and was trying to get me, and ain't nothing wrong with construction, especially for women, if that's what you want. But I have been behind the walls teaching mental health for years, over 18, 19 years. And I was ministering while I was there. So when I came out, I wanted to continue to walk in the career that I had. Well, it was looking at me like I was crazy. You're an ex-offender. You're an inmate. You're a lifer. You know what I'm saying? Just but you having a murder case alone is not going to allow you to be able to walk in these type of settings. And I was like, no, I wasn't going to allow anything and anybody to stop me from who God had created me to be. Because who God created me to be is already existed inside of me. And I didn't need anybody's permission to become who God had created me to be, you know. And so I just want to tell you today that, you know, don't allow anything that has happened in your past, no matter what it is, to stop you become. You can become and be anything that you want to be. Anything that you desire to become, you can be that. And so as we're on the subject about stigma, and that's what really we're talking about, you know, especially when you're dealing with mental health. Stigma is connected not just to mental health, but stigma is connected to a whole lot of things, our past, you know. But I just want to really encourage people today, especially if you are suffering from any type of mental, it's a difference between mental health and mental illness. I think that's another thing that really needs to be made clear. Mental health, it's like if you went to the doctor and you find out you had a situation, and if you don't take care of that situation, then guess what? It's going to wind up turning into an illness. But if you take care of that situation, then you can get well. Well, that's what mental health is. Mental health is dealing with your trauma, it's dealing with your situation and the circumstances that happened to you. There's nothing to be ashamed. When I address mental health, when I look at mental health, when I look at trauma, I look at it from an aspect of when Adam sinned, when Adam broke the commandment, when he broke what God told him to do, sin came into the world, and sin produced trauma. So trauma has been around for a long time. Now, how trauma varies for different people, it's in different many stages and ways. But to set up and not to get any help because you feel like maybe somebody's going to talk about you, I think that especially in our Black community today, it's time for us to get well. It's time for us to break the stigma of trauma. It's time for us to move forward and deal with our issues. And why? What would be the purpose? What would be a benefit? What would be a pay value to deal with your trauma? Well, one of the first things that we're going to think off the top of our heads is pain. One of the reasons why you will want to deal with your trauma is because you don't want to hurt anymore. And that's one of the simplistic mindsets that anybody can have. But I want to just take you a little deeper. Another reason why you should want to embrace your trauma and what's the pay value of dealing with your trauma. Trauma blocks you from becoming who you really are. It hinders you from becoming the person that you was originally designed to be. Don't you want to know why you came here? Don't you want to know what your purpose is? If I hadn't allowed the pain of my past and my trauma to keep me arrested and ashamed and suffering in silence, I would have never became who God created me to be. I would have never been able to write books. I would have never been able to teach while I was yet behind the walls. I would have never been able to work with the mental health field. Coming out here, I would have never been able to go speak on the different platforms. I would have never became the doctor that I am today. So there's a beautiful person that's waiting on the other side of your trauma. You're beautiful now, don't get me wrong. You're able to function now. There are people that are functioning high in their trauma. Could you imagine if you're functioning and still going to work and you're still doing what you're doing now, even in the midst of your pain and suffering and silence, even in the midst of your pain, you're still raising your kids in the midst of your pain, you're going to school in the midst of your pain, you're doing all that. Could you imagine what would happen if you get healed and whole? Could you imagine?
Dr. Horton, you're going to have these women getting to set themselves free when they think about all the stuff they're doing, hiding behind the trauma, the things that they've never expressed to anybody, the thing that they're holding inside, and they're running this fast with that burden on their back. Can you imagine what would happen when they really deal with the trauma and free themselves? You talk about an awesome community of women that we would have. Our other co-host, she's joined us, Shawannah. If Shawannah have a comment, I'm going to have her to chime in, but we also have two other callers. Let me take the caller first. Caller, go ahead, 323. I think you have a question or comment. Going once, going twice, caller. Okay, we have...
Thanks for listening.
Okay, I can understand because she's throwing down some good information, so maybe you just want to listen. We have the lines packed. You just listen. That's all good. Shawannah, do you have comments based on what our guest is saying? Okay, I guess Shawannah, my co-host, I guess.
Everybody's listening. Huh?
Yeah, but it's so important what you're saying. It just made me think about how powerful people could be if they could break the guilt and shame. And one thing is so clear that you said, folks, I just want to reiterate it. Don't wait for others to tell you that you're free, or to tell you that you're important, or to tell you whatever you've done. It doesn't matter in the scheme of things. If God has forgiven you and you have forgiven yourself, I don't care what the crime was. I don't care what you did. You shall not hold yourself as a prisoner. Because most time other people don't even know it. But you're holding yourself. You cannot be all that you're called to be. So if you don't remember anything else from this show that Dr. Horton said, I want you to understand that it is your job to pursue. Why am I here? What am I supposed to do? Not somebody else saying you can't do it because you gave your children away. You have 3 children. They're in foster care. Don't let anybody tell you what you're supposed to do. I've had people, Dr. Horton, to say to me, my mother died when I was 5. And I've had people ask me the question, do you think you would be much further, much better? How do you think you would have been if you had a mother? I cannot answer that question. It could be that I wouldn't be in the position I am in now. When I remember growing up, teenagers, how girls were jumping in cars with boys, doing different stuff, I walked home. I went home alone. I stood alone many times. And one of the reasons was I knew that they got pregnant, they had a mother to take that baby home to help them. I did. So based on that scenario, I can't tell you that I would have been better off. I don't even try to think about it. All I know is who I am today, and I'm following the path that I was born here to do, and I'm doing just that. So, folks, just please listen to Dr. Horton. She knows what she's talking about. Go ahead, Dr. Horton.
One of the things that is so beautiful about God is that He already knew from the beginning what we was going to go through, and He doesn't waste anything. I just want to switch on to my evangelistic hat for a minute, and I'll come back. But He doesn't waste anything. That's what's so beautiful about God. There's nothing that you go through that's going to be wasted. And a lot of times, I just want to go here for a minute because a lot of times you might be young, but you might be older. You might be up in age right now, and you might be saying, you know what, I waited too late, or it's just too much didn't happen. I'm in my 60s, 70s, 80s, or whatever, and I done been through too much. It's no chance for me. Well, I want you to know that that is right where God wants you to be. When your awakening time comes, when God touches you on your shoulder, when God comes into your heart, when God brings it to your attention, there's a saying that says, when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. And so it might be now that you're ready for whatever God has created you for. It's never too late. And God utilizes everything. When I look back, even onto the prostitution, onto everything that happened to me, God worked it and turned it all around for the good. And you might say, okay, Evangelist, what? Let me give you an example. Prostitution, I walked up and down the street all the time. I'm an evangelist now. I travel all over the place. God used it. You feel what I'm saying? He used it. What the enemy meant for bad, God used it. You know what I'm saying? And so I just want you to know that God will take whatever it is, whatever, whatever you utilize, whatever the enemy thought that he used, whatever the enemy thought he took, God is going to take that and use it for your good. I just want to encourage you today to please don't let nothing hinder you, or you think that you done too much or you did too bad. When I was incarcerated, I prayed for women that had cooked their children. And I've seen God come in their life and change their life. Don't ever think there's nothing too bad. People might not forgive you, but God will forgive you. And that's the author and the finisher of your faith anyway. Always look to God. You're right. When you're ready to change, when you're ready to accept what this new life is, it's because this is the time for it. You're right at your time. You're not too late at your time. You're right at your time in awakening. Because first of all, can't nobody come to Christ unless Christ calls them. You can't come to God unless God draws us by his spirit. So it's him calling you now. So I'm encouraging you to let's deal with the pain. Let's deal with the hurt. Let's walk through it. Let's walk through it together. Ain't you tired of hurting? Ain't you tired? We done gave so many things a chance. Lord knows I gave so many things a chance. We've given people a chance. We've given relationships a chance. Ain't you tired of giving Tyrone a chance? Ain't you tired of giving Barbara a chance and Susie a chance? Ain't it time to give you a chance, give you a God a chance, pour all this energy into you, get your healing going on, and see what God has prepared for you? And I promise you, a lot of people say on the other side of healing is your blessing, but I hate to tell you, that's a lie. In the process of your healing is your blessing. Every time you break through a stronghold, every time you have an aha moment, the blessing and the giftings are on the journey. It's on the road. Everything that you need is on the road. And all you have to do is just take one step. I guarantee if you take one, God will take two. So I'm just encouraging you today. Come on in.
Absolutely. We're going to take another call. Okay, caller, go ahead. 323-899. Go ahead. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air. Dr. Horton, meanwhile, when Dr. Horton was released from prison, I've never heard of them allowing someone who released from prison to come back right away, not a year later, to come back and continue to minister unto the women that she left behind. Now, that is awesome within itself. And while she was talking about holding on to stuff that you've done, there was, I'm not going to call this guy's name, he used to always be on the internet talking about women who are married and women who are single. If you got kids, nobody wants you if you're over 35. Y'all know who he was. But anyway, this man was telling me the other day, you should have heard what he said. This woman had 3 babies by 3 different men. And now she's with a guy, and she doesn't want to have sex with him. And he's looking at her crazy. You mean to tell me you got 3 babies, and then I have to try to run you down to have sex with you? And I told him, I said, this is a man who doesn't understand. That's not her address now. She doesn't live on Broadway Street now. She has moved to a higher street. And see, that's what you got to understand. That's what Dr. Horton is talking about. You don't have to go back to what you used to be. So, well, you used to do it. Yeah, I don't live there anymore. And so I'm saying to women who are out there listening, especially young girls, who feels like, well, they know that I'm sexually active because I have a baby. No, that's what you was. That's your past. Do not allow people to pull you back into what you used to be when you're trying to go to a new address. I just want to drop that on you because this man was really adamant about, how she think he gonna want to date her. She don't want to have sex with him. She got three babies by three different daddies. That's not who she is right now. So,
Mm-hmm.
Ken,
Yeah, well,
you have a comment on that?
well, then you're going to have to pick different guys. Okay, evidently maybe you've moved on, and maybe you're in a different place, but you haven't start choosing different people that move in a different circle, and
And
that's
doing
that's
different things.
and doing different things. So basically, yeah, you might, it's like me being, I'm an elevated person, but I'm back dealing with the same people that I used to deal with. Okay, no, well, yeah, no, I might be elevated, but the thing is, I put myself back in the same swamp I took myself out of. So.
Wow. Dr. George.
Yeah, and I agree with him. That I was just thinking the same thing. You know, a lot of times, unfortunately, when we are in the midst of that transition, it's hard. And I like to deal with reality. I'm not going to never blow no smoke. It is hard to separate from people that you've had long relationships with. Even you can know they're toxic, you know what I'm saying, and everything. But moving in the process of you changing, moving towards another group of people, you're not all the way over there where they at, and you ain't where you came from. It can be a little challenging. But this is what I suggest, and this is what I did, because it was a barrier for me. It was a barrier for me because my history was all I knew. And I didn't have really nothing in front of me to attach myself to, or I really didn't feel all the way comfortable with the new life. And they looked. I'm just gonna tell the truth. I'm trying to be nice. They looked weird to me. So when you come out, it was just weird to me. They looked strange to me. This is a whole different thing, But what I did, which this is what the part that just really irritates me. People tell you what you need to do, but they don't tell you how to do it. Right. So let me give you what I did, so maybe you can grab a hold of some jewels today. What I did was I created me my own support system. Yeah. Now look, when I said that, I know that when I said that, I know that instantly everybody's mind went to, okay, I went to get this person and went to get that person. No, that's in my support system. When I say I created my support system, it wasn't a people. It was tapes. It was books. It was different people that came over the TV that encouraged you. So for a minute of my life, my encouragement, my support group was people that I had admired and that I was listening to, that was talking and coaching me, whether it was over radios, me buying, investing, and buying healthy books that came with CDs. So a lot of my stuff was EI, out of my, mobile. But I did it because I needed my mind to be renewed. I needed my mind to be renewed, and I knew that the renewance that I needed was consistent. You have to participate in your change. You have to invest in your change. And let me tell you why that's important, because you don't understand that all of that toxicity, you invested in. I invested in almost 30, 40, 50, 30 years of toxicity. How did I invest in it? I invested in it when I was walking up and down them streets. I invested on it when I was buying all that music. You know what I'm saying? All that rap stuff, listening to all that negative stuff in my head, creating my thought patterns. You know what I'm saying? I was investing in it when I was sitting there listening to things, Big Butts and a Smile. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be all them songs that they were talking about. Pretty Lady and all that stuff, and Pumps and the Bumps and all that. I was listening to all that saying. I was investing in that in my soul. I was investing that in my heart. I was investing that into my spirit. I was creating a narrative. And so in that, I had to, that same way I invested all of that into becoming who I wanted to be, and people do it all the time. Gangbangers want to listen to that rough music. Why? Because they invested in their head. Make them think they can go out and bullets won't hurt them. You know what I'm saying? They can do anything. So that same investment you got to do in your self-healing, your mental health, getting yourself back together, you got to invest in the same, get you some books that's going and listen to stuff that's encouraging. I listen to Cindy Trim all the time. I listen to people that are encouraging me all the time. I listen to different things. And I listened until I got the strength to go and move forward myself. You know what I'm saying? And then when I got to that space, guess what? Those people that looked crazy to me when I came out of my toxicity, they didn't look crazy to me no more. They started looking normal. And my past started looking crazy to me. And then I was able to connect with them. I was able to, why? Because I had got myself renewed. And so you have to invest in yourself. You're worth the investment. You're worth it all.
Dr. Horton, when you came out, where was your self-esteem?
Well, you want the truth, it was so high, I ain't even gonna lie. It was high because I had did a lot of work while I was incarcerated and I was doing mental health. But one of the things that I ran into coming out, just being truthful, doctor, is that the weirdness. That's why I talked about it, because I was changed and my mind was changed, but then it was to put that into practice. So now coming out here, walking with different women in the church, and I'm just going to tell you, you know, what I was looking for and what I thought, it's a lot of broken people in different places. I'm just going to put it like that. And mental health is needed. You know what I'm saying? So engaging in those different spaces, you know, learning people, learning different things, learning yourself, animating yourself back into those types of places, and then understanding that how to be that melting pot with each other. So I really encourage people while they're incarcerated to do the work, because you can come out strong, you can come out clear, you can come out, but know that there's still going to be some work. I think that self-healing journey is going to be an eternal work. That's why I don't believe that it's a destination. I believe it's a journey.
Right. Dr. Horton, let me ask you this question, because we're talking about broken women. And sometimes women who are broken, they think that all they have to do is run up in the church house. They think they're going to be all right without any outside help, without looking for any type of mental clinic or mental workers to work with them. Because they've been told all you got to do is believe. If all you have to do is believe, what if you was incarcerated and you went up, you woke up one morning, you prayed, you believed you were going to get out today? Does that happen? I think the last time I heard you minister, you said something so powerful about faith sometimes doesn't make sense to us. And you talked about the fact that it did make sense that when Peter needed to pay his taxes, it didn't make sense for the way to be made through the fish's mouth. I thought that was so powerful, because we get off track sometimes by believing what we believe is going to happen for us. It seemed to me, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate mail with this one, but I found more broken women in the church house than I've found in the street. I am absolutely telling you the truth. From pastors' wives on down. There's so many broken. That's why I wish ministers would allow and talk to the members about mental health versus you trying to be all of that. You haven't gone to school not one day to study psychology or sociology, but you got all the answers. And I've heard ministers say, well, you don't need to be laying up on nobody's couch talking to them. Just, I'm the man of God. Talk to Jesus. So what's your take on that? I'm tired of
I'm probably gonna get some hate mail right along with you. But I'm so glad that I'm not tied to anything, so but other than God and truth. So I agree with you. To me, it's just amazing how people, and I've heard pastors and preachers and teachers and evangelists and bishops and apostles and everybody else say it too. That you don't need no kind of mental health. You don't need to go see nobody. All you need to do is just pray. But I just want to pose a question. My question is this: why is it all right for you to go to the eye doctor, the knee doctor, the leg doctor, the foot doctor, this doctor, the diabetic doctor? Why is it all right to go
why
to
don't you
every
let God
other?
heal that, right? Why don't you let God heal your toe? Let him heal your shoulder.
So why is it all right to go to every other doctor but the mental health doctor? And God, this is why I say God addresses the thing. One of the things I love about God, what made me, because like I said, I didn't know nothing about God. I didn't have a religious mindset. I didn't I came to him like I was. And I'm so glad I did, because I was able to get to know him for myself. And what I love about my God is that he deals with issues. He's not scared of nothing. He's not scared to address anything. He tells our mind we need to be renewed by the word. And so guess what? The word does what? Oh my God, it's going to get good right now. The word gives us instructions. So God sends us to the word to get instructions on how to deal with life. I'm going to say that again. We go to the word to get instructions on how to deal with life. God tells us what to do. God sends us to places. He deals with the tax collectors. He tells, give a Caesar what belongs to Caesar and give God what belongs to God. God deals with mental health issues. God deals with trauma. God faced it. Hello, he asked it, Adam in the garden. He said, Adam, where are you? And when he asked Adam that, he wasn't asking Adam about his location. He was asking him about his mental place. Where are you, Adam? Where is your headspace? And because Adam's thought patterns, because trauma had came, because he had did something that caused him to feel separated from God, he hid himself. And that's what the church is doing now. They are hiding themselves. They are hiding themselves in church buildings. They're hiding themselves behind roads. They're hiding themselves in positions. They're hiding themselves with titles. They can't get enough titles. They get titles on top of titles on top of titles. But I'm here to tell you that God is saying, come from out from there. Come on, I want to talk to you. And get the covering that God wants to cover you with, which is your mind being renewed today. God is calling you out. And I promise you, it doesn't matter. You don't have to keep trying to cover your sins. Adam tried to cover his sins. He had the wrong mindset. He had a traumatized mindset. And God said, no, who told you that? Who told you who was naked? Who told you those things?
Wow.
And so we need to come from that. I'm sorry, Dr. Rosie, I might have went a little.
No, you're good. You're good. You are on it, and it's the same thing that's being asked today. Who told you that you can't change? Who told you that if you were prostitute, you have to always do that? Who told you that it's your fault that someone molested you? Who told you? So that same question, Dr. Horton, it needs to be asked to people today. Where are you when you say, where are you? Where are you mentally? Who are you listening to? When someone tell you, when you mention to go to the word to see what the word say, not what the pastor said. Okay, I get put out of church. Keith, I'm looking for a church. I'm looking for a church.
You're on the wanted list, Dr. Rose.
Yeah, I'm on the wanted list because the truth is going to set people free. Because you're telling me when she said go to the word, she's not talking about go to just the words that coming from the mouths of the person who delivered the message. Go and find out for yourself that
and
you
also,
can be free.
When I say this, when I'm saying this too, when I say God, and let me go, what I love about God is that He's an applicable God. In other words, when He gives us instructions, He tells us. When I say go to the Word, I'm saying go to the Word to get wisdom, insight. The Word will tell you where to go. The Word tells you how to eat. It tells you what to do. It tells you who to go talk to. It tells you to go get wise counsel. It tells you who to go get counsel from. It gives you instruction how to operate in the earth. Mm-hmm. You understand? So this is what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that the Word has been so misrepresented. The Word of God will tell you where you need to go where you need to go in the earth realm to get the help you need. The word will send you to who you need to go to receive what it is that you need. And then He also gives us instructions how we're supposed to help one another. So the Bible said we are fitly together, joined together. we're everything that's needed is in the body, and the body is not just those four walls. The body is all of us. And so every bit. And so it really hurts me when I hear pastors preach, you don't need to, just read your Bible. You don't need to, go get this help and get that help. But yes, you do. There's so many mental help.
Dr. Horton, it is so important because I've heard people who were shaken because they have heard someone stand over the pulpit and say, you know what? God does not hear a sinner's prayer. Then how did you ever get saved? He does not hear a sinner's prayer. That's why we really need to read for ourselves. But Dr. Horton, I'm really excited about an event that's coming up on the 21st. I'm going to be on the front row. I guess they'll let me on the front row. Yeah, I think they like. I think they like me over at Crenshaw Christian. They'll let me sit down. You are going to be doing a seminar, a presentation over there on mental health at Crenshaw Christian. When I heard that, I said, "Oh my God, that's ministering to the whole man." To every inch of you that need ministering to, and I was really happy. I hope that spread like the virus spread to other ministers, that they really need to start dealing with the mental health, because when you're mentally having challenge, it impacts your husband, it impacts your children. I mean, it spreads out from your house to the community, out of the households. Comes into the community, then into the schools, then into the system at large. I was so elated when I heard that you were going to be doing your presentation at Crenshaw Christian on the 21st. And what time is that?
So it's at 10:30, and I just want to really invite everybody, please come out. There's going to be so much in the house available for you. If you're in need, of some counseling, please come. I know you're going to hear something that's going to help. If you know somebody that might be in need of something, then invite them. If you are a teacher, a counselor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, please come in the house. We always can get tools sharpened, or you might learn something that can help somebody else. Who knows? Also, I just want to give a big shout out to Dr. Fred Price Jr., who is allowing this to be held inside of the Crenshaw Christian Center. Big shout out to him, mighty man of God. I'm so elated, and what I love about him is that he himself believes in it, and he's a well-versed doctor. He's a well-versed pastor. I mean, he can bring you from Genesis to Revelation. And in all that, he still support mental wellness. And so I just want to invite you out. I wouldn't miss it. If you need your tickets are $20. You can call Crenshaw Christian Center, and they will have your ticket available for you. I really encourage you to come out. If I were you, I would not be in the house. I would be there.
And I would say to parents, if you have teenagers, young adults, you need to get them there, because a lot of time these kids are so sick and they don't know who to talk to because they see how sick you are. So they know not to talk to you because they know when you're sick when you don't know you're sick. So let's look at it like this. You may think you're well. Come and get evaluated. When you hear what you need to hear from Dr. Horton and others, you will do a self-evaluation. Man, I need help. It's nothing wrong with getting help for your mental status, folks. It serves the community. It serves your job. It serves everybody well. So I'm just excited about this. So you all want to make sure you come. And I tell you, it's a lot of sick people out there. Like I said, I'm going to say it again. I've found more sick people in the church than I've found in the street. I look at a lot of teenage girls in the world. They seem to have more going on mental-wise than some of the girls that come from the church, because they've been taught, keep your dress down. And most of them don't even wear dresses. They don't even know what you're talking about. It's time for the church to
Yeah.
go where they have not gone. It's time for them to talk about mental illness. It's time for them to talk about sexuality
Mm-hmm.
and sex. They need to go there because that is where a lot of the problem, that is the area where a lot of low self-esteem takes place. Because when people don't have good self-esteem about themselves from a mental standpoint, they end up in relationship with people that they shouldn't even be around, let alone being in the bed with. Yeah, that's just what I said. You need to be around them. So it's time for the church to step up and take this role, So I'm really happy about this. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. And you ought to be there too and bring, it's not just it's for everybody. It's not just for women, right, Dr. Horton?
Yes, it's men too. I'm so excited. So yeah, I'm glad you bring it up. So men, please come. Please come. This is for everybody. And it's going to be something there for you as well. So please, this is a mental health seminar for all.
So I think you should come as a family. Heal the whole family.
Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Yeah, it would be nice to bring the whole family. Don't say, well, I don't want to bring him because I don't want him to find out how sick I am. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, So it's just awesome. I want to say thank you also to Dr. Price. They have always opened their door for information like this. They were one of the first one I know who brought Dr. Claude Anderson out here to talk about wealth. They embrace the whole you. And that's what's important. It's more to you just than your spiritual side. Because a lot of people don't have a spiritual side, Dr. Horton. They got a religious side. See, there I go again. That's why they don't want me. That's why they don't want me, Keith, okay?
You always start in trouble, Dr. Rosie.
Yeah, they know about religion, but that spiritual side. So, Dr. Horton, you are an awesome woman and an awesome woman of God. I love you being authentic. I just love the way you just tell the truth. You just break it down and you help people to understand it's okay to have been where you have been, but you don't have to stay there. That's the point. You don't have to go back there because you've been there before. And I want that to go out to women. Don't let anybody hold you hostage to doing things with them because you did something with somebody else. That was then. So I want you to remember next time somebody come in your life trying to put you on the wrong path, just let them know. You recognize, I know what I was, I know what I did, but guess what? I moved off of Broadway. I moved off of Broadway. That's all I want you to tell them. I ain't on Broadway no more. So don't approach me like that. I'm not on Broadway. Yeah. Figaro, whatever. Figaro, whatever street you were on. Come off of that. Okay? Yeah. And you can have a new life, folks. Yeah. What Dr. Horton, what we are saying is, you can have a new life. Yeah. It's up to you.
But people like Dr. Horton, by what she used to do and where she was, right? Okay, she sees people without the mask. Okay, people walk around with a mask on. Okay, but people that I call that have been in the shadow world. Okay, they see people's real selves without the mask on. So if you know how to translate that to people, they get underneath that, because that, like when she sees somebody, she said, "I know." I said, "I've been around a whole bunch of people, and I've seen them when they drop their facade." Okay, so I know who you are underneath. So there's no reason to pretend with me.
Okay? And there are people who really want to come from behind that mask, but they're afraid of what you're going to think. Don't worry about what they're going to think. Mm-hmm. Worry about your healing, not what they think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we get past what people think, I think we'll be able to be free. Yeah. There's a lot of people behind bars, but there's a lot of people behind bars who think they're in the free world because they're with that mask. Dr. Horton, you want to give us some closing remarks? And I appreciate you so much for coming on this show today. I really do.
Oh, yeah, I'm telling you, I'm elated. I'm excited. I thank you for having me. I just had a ball. We definitely got to do this again.
Absolutely.
And I just wanted to know if anybody need any type of help, or they're looking for a counseling or anything, I'm available. You can contact me.
Give them your number, Dr. Horton.
My number is 323-884-3799. Again, that's 323-884-3799. I give free consultations, and we'll take it from there. Blessings.
Wow, you can't beat that free consultation of woman of God, healing broken women. You know whether you're broken or not. Don't be sitting up there because you got a hat on your head and dressed all up and a fur. That don't make you you a free woman. So don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted, folks. Just, take off the mask. It's time to take off the mask so we can heal the nation. So again, you guys, we've had a great show. Great guest. Thank all of you for listening. We had all these callers, but they just wanted to listen. I can understand because Dr. Horton was on the roll and you don't want to break the train of thought and you want to get all of that pot liquor from the green. Somebody know what I'm talking about. Pot liquor, yeah. Whew, the pot liquor is good for the soul. So, same time next week, you guys, we'll be right here throwing it down again. We don't play. We talk about the thing that's real. It's the real deal. And look forward to my show that'll be coming up soon called, Hey, Put the Children to Bed. Hey, I got something to talk to you about. Okay?
Uh-oh.
Y'all have a great one.